Hello everybody, my name is Yanni and today I'm going to be going over a random password generator in C using CS50 IDE. I'll leave a link to it down in the description. I think all you need is a GitHub to get started. So it's a pretty cool IDE. You get access to the Linux terminal. As you can see here, it's a bash terminal, so I can run commands like touch and then // to run things. So it's a bash terminal. A lot better than Windows in my opinion, and you get it in your browser, so that makes it a lot better. Alright, so let's get started with looking at the program. So first we're just including our libraries, typical things, stdio.h to get access to memory allocation, string.h to get access to a bunch of useful functions, specifically strlen to get the length of a string, and then stdlib. Oh, I'm sorry. stdlib was to get malloc, and then stdio is to get pretty much everything else. Alright, so first we're going to create int main with argc and char star argv. This is going to give us access to command line arguments, and you'll see why we need that later. If argc equals 1, so if you don't input any command line arguments and you just run the program, it'll print out the usage. Then if the command line argument is equal to this word right here, address, it'll get 2 pointers, allocate them inside the memory, and then print the pointers and free them. And you'll see why that's useful later in the program whenever we actually use that to create the password, because this is the whole premise of what this program is based on. These pointers allow us to get hexadecimal numbers that we can later just use in a little algorithm to make them even more complex. Okay, so now we'll just get to the algorithm. So if stir compare argv1, so if what we type in the command line argument right after we run the command is equal to password, then we'll make sure that argc is equal to 3, so there's 2 command line arguments after it, because we need to get a key to tell us what to shift the number on, because this program operates, or the password part of this program operates on a Caesar cipher, where you can move it any digits forward. So you can move it like 13 digits ahead. And if you look at an ASCII table real quick, let's say we type in like the number 1 or number 50 for easy math. So number 50 is equal to 2. So we type in the number 2, and then we shift everything 16 digits down. We'll go all the way to 66, and that'll turn into B. So yeah, it's a basic Caesar cipher where every letter or every number on the ASCII table moves whatever digit you put in the command line argument, and again, you'll see that as I go on. Okay, so then you just get the address right here that you copy from the end, and I'll just delete this real quick because we don't need it right now. We'll create a whole new address after we go through the example part of this program, and then you just int n equals strlen address, you use that in the for loop, and then you just printf password, and here's where you write your new chars, and I'll explain what this does. So for int I equals 0, I less than strlen of address I++. So we're just going to create a new char called current char to replace this address I, because it's kind of weird. It's not weird, but it makes it easier to read if you just set current char equal to address I. So anytime you see current char, that's basically just the same thing as typing in address of I, but we just use current char. Okay, now we just have this int x, which is acting as another random variable that is cubing I. So like if I is 0, it'll equal 0, but if I is 1, it'll still equal 1, and if I is 2, it'll equal 8, so it's just cubing I. Then we have this char, new char, which is our kind of enciphered char if you think about it, since we are using a more complex version of a Caesar cipher, because it's not having to do with the alphabet, it's having to do with the whole entire ASCII table. Okay, so let's get back here. So new char equals current char plus key, and you'll see the key later. Key is what we put in as our second command line argument, plus x, and again x is just I cube, modulo 126. And the reason we have modulo 126 is because although we have 127 letters or characters in the ASCII table, we don't actually want to get this delete character, because there's no point of having that in a password, del. That's like just pressing backspace on your keyboard, so we don't want that. So we do modulo 126. So anytime we get to like 127, when you modulo that, it'll get back to 0, and you'll see what we do whenever we get something from 0. So if new char is less than 33, and again 33 up here is exclamation mark, so if it's anything before here, and these are just a bunch of things like you would see on your keyboard, like home button, backspace, enter, shift, all those things, that's what 0 through 32 are in the ASCII table. So if new char is less than 33, then we just add 33 to get all of these off of here, because we don't want any of these in our password. So we'll just add 33. And then if new char equals 34 or 39, and these digits are the quotation marks, and then the little hyphen, like I don't know what it is exactly, but it's this little thing. Like you use it whenever you make a char. So if you say char C equals I don't know, X or something like that, this little thing right here, that's what you would use. And we don't want that because sometimes big companies, they won't like support that in their passwords because it could just ruin the string and stuff. So because like whenever you write a string, you say char star stir equals this, and if you were to put like another quotation mark in it, it would kind of ruin the whole thing. So that's why you don't want those quotation marks or anything like that. And yeah, if we get onto those digits, then we just add 1. And then of course we just print new char without printing on a new line. And then if everything goes wrong, we just tell them how to use the program again, and then we printf \n. Alright, so let's get on to running the program. It's kind of complicated, but this is how it is. This is the first version of it. So we'll just run /pass address. We'll get this special keyword that'll give us 2 addresses put together, so a really long number in hexadecimal. And then we'll copy this number right here by pressing Ctrl+C or right-clicking and copying. And then we'll put it into this char star address here. And because we do that, that'll feed it in as that value. So now every time they see address, that just basically means this value. And so now we're going to recompile our code. So we're going to make pass, and then that works. So now we're going to run /pass password, and then we'll put a random number like 16. 16. And then as you can see, it'll run it through that whole algorithm, and it'll give us our new password. And if I'll copy this and I put it in a password checker, yeah, it'll get it, really good, hack resistant, does not appear to be any database, and this is the big one. To be brute forced, it needs 10,000 plus centuries, so that's a pretty good password. You can get really good passwords with this. Sometimes you'll end up with passwords that are just numbers and letters, but if that happens, then you can just take the same exact address and just put in a different key. So yeah, that's pretty much the program. I hope you enjoyed. Please leave any suggestions if you know anything about this. One thing I am looking for is how you can convert a pointer, so like this int star x, how you can convert a pointer to a string so I don't have to have 2 parts to the program. Alright, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.